tune your server to talk.gameshout.com and join us on the air. Come have some fun with us. Remember Wacky Wednesday? Well, it's back. Wacky Wednesday starring Andy Hodges. That's 9:30 p.m. each Wednesday night on GameSHOUT.
And now, it's time for the award-winning PC game reviews by GameSHOUT. The GameSHOUT PC game reviews.
That's right. This is Captain Maverick, your host for the PC program. I want the good crowd. That's right. PC Playground, the #1 GameSHOUT radio podcast. And tonight
somebody must have shut the door.
For you guys. Yeah, really. Just close them out, man. Just quiet back there. We got a rockin' show for you tonight. We're going to start off with SexyJosh's review of Splat Magazine's Renegade Paintball. Paintball at its best. And our demo of the week, it's a blast. Bones Out of Boneville. You guys got to check that one out. It's Telltale Games. Then, Jadri and Soulrift are going to bring us a tormenting review of the movies. And we'll wrap this whole thing up with my review of the expansion pack, Battlefield 2 Special Forces. Ah, boys, girls, ladies, gentlemen, guys, dolls, and everybody in between, we have got a lot of fun ahead, and you just got to hang on for the ride, because here we go. Splat Magazine, Renegade Paintball. Go!
Yeah. Well, Splat Magazine's Renegade Paintball sounds just like it plays. Not that great. I did review we reviewed the Xbox version of this a while back, and I didn't give it that stellar of a score. Unfortunately, I don't think the PC version is going to get any higher of a score. Well, my main complaints for the console version were semi-bland graphics, pretty bad controls, horrible aiming, and the fact that, well, I kind of wish they were real guns and not paintball guns, because paintballs have like no accuracy to them in the game. Pretty much a lot of that just kind of converges over into the PC version. When I installed it, I was like sitting there going, you know, PC's got a lot more horsepower to it. Maybe the graphics will be better. Maybe the gameplay will be a lot more fun. Maybe I'll be able to aim the damn paintball gun a little bit better. Well, no. Aside from the paintball gun being able to aim a little easier because it's a mouse, and, well, hands down, first-person shooters are a little more accurate on a PC, it still had zero accuracy when you were firing off those paintballs. Yeah, you could aim a little bit better, but trying to judge how far a paintball will go in this game is like judging who's the tallest midget in Munchkinland. You just can't do it. There's too many of them. Regardless, the gameplay it feels just as off on the PC as it does on the Xbox. There's so much going on around you, and paintballs are flying from places you didn't even see a person there before a second ago. It gets ridiculous to the point of what's going on. Now, you know, I give it props though. It's one of the best paintball games I've played. Unfortunately, it doesn't say much for the other paintball games. It does have a really comprehensive career mode where you start, you know, from one end to the other and just keep playing through all your capture the flags and skirmishes and all these different types of gameplays that you find in pretty much any first-person shooter game. There is a multiplayer when I can get it to work. Unfortunately, some of the times when I went to search for a server, no servers would come up, and when a server did come up, it took forever to connect, and when I got in the game, it lagged all the hell out. There is a level editor along with this game. but you don't. Probably nobody's going to be spending a lot of time editing levels. If you really can't get the multiplayer to work that well, you're really not going to worry about making your own levels. The levels that do come with it are pretty well thought out and pretty good actually. For a paintball scheme, this is some of the best levels I'd personally ever played for a paintball game, and I'd love to play in real life, honestly. From the abandoned military bunker to an indoor arenas, there's a lot of variety in the actual levels. The only down part is the levels and graphics are so bad, unfortunately, that when it comes right down to it, they don't really feel as realistic as they should. You have a downed helicopter on the military bunker, and you have the trees and the fauna all over the place. And when you go to try to hide for cover, you kind of end up realizing there really is no such thing as cover in this game. The bots will pick you off from any distance, anywhere, while you're still sitting there trying to figure out where the hell they are. That's one of the bad parts of the game, is the AI isn't that great, but it has a hell of a shot. While I'm trying to figure out how to hit somebody, from 30 feet away by volleying several different paintballs at them, they're picking me off with their first ball, and then shooting me several times after as my character is standing there going, "I'm shot." It's just humiliating. Overall, the game could have been better, and it could have had a little bit more polish, but it's still one of the best paintball games I've played. I'm going to have to say that Splat Magazine's Renegade Paintball, if you're a paintball enthusiast, I'd suggest picking it up. Otherwise, you're looking at a pretty bland first-person shooter, and better off finding, the old mod, Half-Life 1 mod, Paintball, or whatever. It was from a guy named
Digital
Kuja.
Paintball.
Digital Paintball, that's what it was.
Yeah.
I always had fun with that, but
it's one of my
it's
claims.
Free. And that was one of the best parts of that game, is because it was free. This you actually have to pay money for, and I don't suggest it. That's why it's not on our Christmas wish list. Anyways, I'm giving this game a 4.2 out of 10.
All right, 4.2 out of 10. That doesn't bode too well for Renegade Paintball, I'm sorry to say. Well, let's jump on over to a little slower speed, kind of lay things back just a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Bones in Out from Boneville.
The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be, ain't what she used to be. The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be many long years ago. Shut up!
Meet Phone Bone, Phony Bone, and Smiley Bone, three cousins lost far from home.
Hello! Hello!
In a strange new world.
Hey, watch it! Sorry.
Where new adventures await and new dangers lurk.
Mr. Dragon, have you seen my cousins?
Look who joined us for supper.
Join Phone and his friends on their first truly interactive adventure.
That's right, kid. Never play an ace if two will do.
Stupid rat creatures!
I'm telling you guys, this is Jeff Smith's world come to life. This is a very, very funny gig. Bones Out from Boneville is basically a comic book that's come to life. And it's a saga of these three cousins, Phone and Phony and Smiley Bone, and they're separated in this vast uncharted desert, and, well, it's a story about how they come back together again. They find their way to a deep forested valley filled with wonderful and terrifying creatures and new mysteries that await them. It is really funny. I had a good time. It's kind of a laid-back thing. It is our demo of the week. It's at telltalegames.com. That's TELLTALE games.com. All right, go download it, check it out, and if you like it, you can buy it. But the real fun part, I think you're going to enjoy this as a demo of the week. It not only plays like a comic book, it just kind of slows things down a little bit. And sometimes, after going 100 miles an hour with these first-person shooters the way we do, well, sometimes you just got to kind of sit back and slow it down just a little and play the old gray mare and, you know, discover a few hidden secrets in the valley. Yeah, some really neat stuff. In fact, telling you, we've got an interview with the CEO of Telltale Games. That's our buddy Dan Connors, and we're going to be playing that for you on Thursday night. That's fourth segment on Thursday. We're going to be talking to Dan Connors, the CEO of Telltale Games, not only about Out from Boneville, but also about another project that they're working on, CSI. My wife is going to love that one. They got some other things going on. Yeah, interesting little company. I think you're going to enjoy learning a lot more about them and what this company is doing that's a little different than anybody else. And if you're looking for a game that's not only fun for the kids, but kind of also was fun for the adults, like well, yours truly, and you know, that nice hidden adult humor in here. This is pretty cool. I think you'll get into it. Just a little laid back and a little bit fun. That's Bone Out of Boneville from Telltale Games at telltalegames.com. Now, hang on for the ride, because we got some real fun coming up next with some real special fun coming up next with Jadri and Soulrift and their review of the movies.
And action!
You build the studio. You craft the story.
Action!
You create the stars. It's the movies, baby. Make big movies with your stars. Keep them from practicing their talents. Or your budget suffers. Make movies that you want. Run the studio. Sign the stars. Shoot the movies. It's not a game. It's Hollywood. You're fired. The movies.
Lights, camera, or, well, I can't very well go saying action when talking about the movies unless you really get off on the hot excitement of picking up people and putting them in trailers, then perhaps adding a few more people to their entourage. Well, coming to you from Lionhead Studios, who also recently released Black and White 2, this strategy game lets the player be the head of a movie theater, movie studio even. The basic gameplay is not very different from the likes of Roller Coaster Tycoon and other economic / entrepreneurial simulations. You have a lot to build. You have to build a lot of these various buildings in your studio lot, all the things it needs to operate, and then you recruit various cast and crew members, and you try to become rich by selling movies. Now, you start off the game by hiring off a couple script writers to write you a script. You know, right away you'll find one of my big complaints with the game. Now, even though you can have 6 script writers working at the same time on the same script, you can only write one script at a time. So if you want to want one script of each genre, you have to do them one after another. Now, moreover, as soon as they finish a script, your writers just wander off and get drunk. So you have to babysit the writers' club and keep dragging them back one at a time into the building after each script is written. Well, once you have your script, you have to rehearse it. Now, this requires sufficient crew members, extras, lead actors, and a director. Now, the crew members and extras immediately pop into the rehearsal from wherever they were when you put the script in, but you have to pick which actors and directors will be in the movie yourself. Now, 2 things to consider here. how experienced that actor or director is with that genre of movie, and how well they all get along together. Now, again, some gripes with the game. You can pick up an actor or a director and place them on a set to have them rehearse that set's style of movie. So if you put someone in Sci-Fi Corridor 2, they will learn sci-fi experience. But only a very small experience each time, and again, as soon as they do it for a little bit, they wander off and get drunk. Now, same thing with trying to build up the relationships. You can pick up someone and drop them on someone else and have them engage in a little conversation, but they'll only chat a little bit and, you guessed it, wander off to get drunk. Now, I dropped my lead actor on my director about 20 times, and they went, from about 50% relationship, the default starting value, to about 55%. By this time, I was pretty pissed off with the process, and I gave up on the whole relationship thing. Now, you can film more than one movie at a time, provided they're not using the same sets. Now, usually if you do different genres, that's not a problem, because each genre has different sets for it, but you can also see which sets each script uses before you start casting, and you can plan ahead which scripts you'll use. Now, the major problem I ran into, however, was a lack of people. You can only hire people if they stand in queues outside your buildings asking to be hired. Now, I spent the vast majority of my game vastly understaffed and with no one sitting in the queues looking for work. So you're also limited on space. Your studio lot is only so big, and you can quickly fill the whole place with the umpteen different sets you can unlock. Not to mention you need trailers for each of your stars and directors, plenty of support buildings, bathrooms, snack stalls all over the place, and so on and so forth. Of course, plenty of bars so they can go and get drunk. Now, the problem with laying out your studio can quickly become a headache, especially because you keep discovering new buildings and having to add them to your lot. Now, all the buildings are irregularly shaped, so although this game is technically sort of a square tile-based, each building has a uniquely shaped footprint, which allows you to line them up in oddly shaped buildings and tighter together with the funny angles, but also makes it hard to plan ahead and set aside the right amount of space for upcoming sets. So this is, of course, all about making movies, and you can actually write your own scripts. It's a very cool process of, you pick out a set, a scene, you alter a few details like camera angles and the mood, you change some costumes, put some props in. Eventually you've got sort of a Goofy's 1930s style silent film. Now later on you can add color, music, sound effects, and subtitles to your movie in a post-processing facility. Now, I wasn't exactly able to emulate Spielberg with incredibly original movies using this, but it was still fun to put together some silly little scripts. Moreover, however, because you can pick which sets you film on, you can choose sets that you haven't used before and maximize your film's novelty value. So, in conclusion, despite all my frustrations with the game, it certainly is easy and forgiving. One good movie will carry you through a lot of flubs, and even your flubs will earn back their cost and let you survive in the game a bit longer. I found the micromanagement to be really annoying, but it's just still an entertaining title and definitely worth a look-see, especially for management simulation fans. I enjoyed this game more than I did the blockbuster hit Roller Coaster Tycoon, and I give it 7 stars out of 10. What did you think of it, Jadri?
Well, I liked it. I played it for a good couple hours, basically just having a bunch of people working on with a bunch of scientists researching ahead of the curve for everything. Like, I was at least 10 years more advanced than anyone else at one time. One big thing I really like about the movies is that they let you offload your movies from the game and actually save them, and you can release them later online. Like, the movie's website actually has 2019 movies uploaded in the last 7 days, and that's just the last week. So they're starting to see some people making longer and longer movies. I see a couple here for 10 minutes, things like that.
It is pretty cool that you can export the movies, share them with friends. It's not exactly like you can direct the movies nitpicky, because you're still working within the framework of these scenes that they kind of pre-planned out, but you can come up with some pretty original stuff, especially later on when you unlock some of the cooler sets and costumes and stuff.
And you can't forget that there's the sandbox mode where you can immediately play with the full system. so you can have everything and just make a movie.
Yeah, the sandbox mode lets you try out all those other things, which is cool. Of course, the main game with the campaign setting, I really like how you start off in, like, I think the 20s or the 30s, and you're slowly going through time, and then the radio broadcasters change. Like, you go from this old, you know, pre-depression guy, and then you get into this anti-communist wacko, and then you get in sort of like the flower power guy.
It's pretty interesting. The nice thing about the movie maker, I know, is that you can actually record in your own soundtrack, so you can give your characters voices and features like that.
And what did you give the game out of 10?
I'm gonna have to give it about an 8, actually.
Alright, so a 7 out of 10 for me because I didn't have enough staff members, an 8 out of 10 from Jadri, and back to you.
Well done, guys. Thank you. Well, hey, listen, we're going to come back to Battlefield 2 Special Forces Expansion Pack review right after this. Are you looking for a stable game server hosting company? Well, BFG Servers has been in business since 2001. Looking for a game server hosting company with real credibility? Well, BFG Servers is a premier provider of internet gaming, voice, and web hosting services. Are you looking for a responsive, knowledgeable technical support? Well, BFG Servers generally responds to account holder technical issues within 1 hour. BFGServers.com, when size does matter.
GamesNet.net is back, and with some announcements about their new IRC services.
Do not be alarmed if you hear anything unusual.
GamesNet was the first IRC network for gamers since 1996. Forget about those other nonsense IRC networks such as QuakeNet or coffee drinkers such as GameSurge. Join the first IRC network for gamers since 1996. GamesNet.net. Ooh, I love it! GamesNet.net.
PC Playground, GameSHOUT Radio. This is Captain Maverick. With me, of course, are the always effervescent Andy, Hodges, SexyJosh, TrickNeal, and the rest of the gang. We're going to jump right back into our reviews, and this one is my review. Oh, yeah. Battlefield 2 Special Forces. What a blast. That's what I'm talking about. Get back to the real music. Look, Battlefield 2 Special Forces, please note this expansion pack does require the full version of Battlefield 2 to play. But coming quickly on the heels of the release of one of this year's top action titles, Battlefield 2, the expansion pack of Special Forces brings both joy and pain this holiday season. The joy, it comes in the addition to the Battlefield mix of 8 new maps, 6 new factions, 6 new gadgets, and reworked weapons, and a partridge in a pear tree. The pain is for some, without the most high-powered computers out there, where this resource hog devours their system resources and comes begging back with, "Please, sir, I want some more." Well, it seems that DICE and EA realized that even though Battlefield 2 is undoubtedly one of the best and, well, currently one of the most played multiplayer first-person shooters on the market, it really was lacking something. If you play on any of the most common servers available, you're going to notice that, well, it's mostly every man for himself, or, well, excuse me, politically correct, every person for themselves. Yep, they all have the combined goal of domination of the map, but very few really work in a cohesive unit towards that end. Simply put, there's no teamwork, at least on most of the servers. And I say most because some do encourage teamwork, but that's all they can do is encourage, and that only works to a small degree. Now, if you have a team competing against another team in an organized match, the team that works the best together will be the victor. I mean, not just working well together, but following a group of prearranged smaller objectives designed to accomplish the primary goal. That's right, a plan. Okay? Battlefield 2 Special Forces expansion pack to Battlefield 2 is designed to be a team-oriented tactical operation, not just a game. You start out with the same normal Battlefield 2 weapon classes, assault, mechanic, engineer, anti-tank, and yes, even special forces. But all of the weapons have been revamped. Yep, they even made a better RPG. Yeah. Well, that's not just the best of it. They added some new gadgets along with it. Try night vision goggles. See, they've been added so that you can do covert operations on night maps. Now, this adds a nice dimension, but it's got its drawbacks. You don't want to look at a lighted area, or you're going to be faced with a flare-out. An over-amplification of light blinds you for a moment. Now, add this to zip lines, grappling hooks, and now you can get almost anywhere on the map. But you must work together, because some of the classes have, one or the other, and you're going to likely need both in your squad. Now, they've also added a gas mask. Since there's a gas mask, there must be gas. And that's not just my wife's chili we're talking about. We're talking about tear gas. And now that's all part of the mix. And when you see this yellowish-brown cloud of tear gas, you can rest assured there's a battle somewhere about. If you go into the cloud without a mask, your vision's going to become blurred and images will kind of swim and swirl, and your actions are going to be slowed and sluggish, kind of like a bad flashback from the 60s. Now, you put your mask on, your vision's going to clear, but your stamina is going to be reduced because of the breathing limitations placed on you by the mask. Now, if you have tear gas, you got to have flashbangs, right? These are flash charges. They cause a loud noise, ultra-bright flash, causes temporary blindness, disorientation if you're in the room or looking in the direction of the flashbang. This can give you the upper hand on your opponent as they are frantically trying to find cover blindly. The gameplay, very similar to BF2. It's all the same, but it's geared more towards the infantry and less towards the vehicles. You got a few new vehicles. There's no jets. There's no tanks, or very few of them, if any. There's quads, four-wheel motorcycles. There's jet skis. There's armed cars, and now there's these technicals, a pickup truck with a heavy machine gun mounted in the rear. You have 8 maps, 6 new factions. You have some of the maps are really very cool. One of them in particular is Navy SEALs are guarding an aircraft carrier. You got the mech units trying to attack. Well, look. Overall, it's a nice game graphically. I love the weapons and gadgets. It's a real hog of resources, but still, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. You can see these and all reviews on GameSHOUT.com, and we're going to be right back right after this.
This is GameSHOUT Radio, the #1 talk game station in the world. Visit GameSHOUT.com for more info. GameSHOUT. GameSHOUT.